do it.
Well, hello and welcome to the first official episode of The Life of Hollywood, the show about how working professionals in Hollywood got started. I'm your host, Marcus Nocerino. Getting a job in Hollywood is very hard and competitive. It's all about who you know in the industry and not what you know. My guest today is Ty Cortes, aka Tycho. Welcome, who is known for his role as Robby in the independent film called No Right Way. No Right Way is a film about a twin girl named Georgie that's getting taken care of by her half-sister Harper, whose attempts to parent only lead to exposing their parallel childhood wounds.
Mm.
This film got featured at the Victoria Film Festival and is available on Amazon Prime. Ty, thank you so much for being here today to talk about how you got started in Hollywood.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me onto the show. I really appreciate it. How did I get into Hollywood? I mean, I started when I was around 9 or 10. I'm 18 now, so it's been about 10 years. Yeah, and I just kind of one day decided, you know what, I just want to try this. Acting seems like something that I'd be interested in doing. My dad was like, you know what, let's try it. Let's just get into it. Started, doing some auditions here and there. Found an agent, found a manager, and it's been amazing ever since. I fell in love with acting. I'm gonna keep doing it for the rest of my life. So it's been good to me so far, so I'm happy about it.
And what's your favorite production you worked on in your career?
My favorite production that I've worked on in my career, I mean, it would probably have to be No Right Way, which is the feature film that just came out on Amazon Prime. I mean, it's my favorite just because it's my first feature film that I ever did. It was a super just amazing set. The cast and crew were also loving, amazing, super welcoming. As soon as I got on set, it was just good vibes, good energy, and everybody was willing to make an amazing movie. So that was my favorite production to definitely be on for sure.
That's really cool. And do you want to talk to us about the audition process for No Right Way?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, so I got the audition a while ago. This movie's been in production for a good amount of time now. I think I did the audition back in 2022. I got the audition, and it was, a few pages long. It was just kind of saying, you're doing this and that. It was an improvised audition, mostly. So it was kind of just like improvised. I kind of just come up with what you want. Did the audition, got the call back. I hopped on the callback with it was the producer, and the writer. And when I hopped on, they were like, "Hey, we have this role. We think you fit well with it. Let's see what you have." And then I kind of just did the script with them live right there, improvised a few things, came up with a few things, and they loved it. They loved it. The one thing which is kind of funny is they asked me, "Ty, do you know how to skateboard?" And because in the film I do skateboard in it, and I told him yes. I told him I definitely skateboard. I told him I've been doing it, but I've never, at that point, I never skateboarded in my life. Like I never even stepped foot on a skateboard. I didn't know how to skateboard at all. But I told him, hey, I do know how to skateboard, whatever. So then I booked it. They said, hey, I need you to be on set in 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks to learn how to skateboard and kind of just you know warm up to it. And I got kind of good at it, for the movie. So that I think that's what kind of got me the role. Saying I know how to skateboard, that definitely helps. But yeah, it was a good audition, and I'm happy I booked it.
And how was it hard? Was it hard, like skateboarding, like for the film?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had 2 weeks to skateboard until I had to, be ready on set. And I was just kind of like, oh man, how am I gonna do this? Like I've never skateboarded in my life. I went out, I bought a skateboard just to practice. I would go to the skate park every day for those 2 weeks until set time, and I would just practice. I fell a bunch of times, got hurt a bunch of times. It's respect to every skateboarder out there that does tricks and goes crazy, because it's a lot harder than it seems. But I'm happy that I learned what I did. Yeah.
That's pretty cool because I could never skateboard. Like I tried once and like I literally like fall on my ass.
Yes, definitely. That happened to me so many times. So many.
Yeah. So how are you and Robbie like alike?
How me and Robbie are like, man, I think me and Robbie are a lot alike. And the crazy thing is Robbie's actually based off of a real person. This movie is based on true events. And, um, I think we're similar in many ways. I think the fact that he is very just like the life of the party, sort of just like as soon as he comes in, he loves making people laugh and he loves joking around and kind of just being with his friends. And I can definitely reminisce and resonate a lot with that. Just being around my friends and loving to just like have a good laugh and mess around and have fun. That's all he wanted to do was just be close with his friends. He loved just being around people. He was just a great person to be around. Someone that made everybody smile the second he comes around. And yeah, I think he was a great character. And the fact that Chelsea, which is the director of the film, was able to let me sort of improvise on the spot. It definitely helped me dive deeper into my character and understand him more. So yeah, I definitely resonated a lot with this character.
And you said that you had to like improv for the audition. Do you think like improv or getting a script is easy or hard? Like which one do you think is easy or hard?
Man, that's a great question. That's a great question. I think they both have their pros and cons. Writing is definitely amazing. We definitely love our writers. Having a script is always great. Something to just kind of go off of, memorize the lines, whatever. For me personally, I've always loved improv. I've always loved improvising scenes. I just feel like it makes things more natural. It makes the scene more natural. Um, so, I mean, the fact that this audition was improvised, maybe some people wouldn't have liked that. Maybe some people would have been like, oh, I don't really know what to do. I love it. I've always loved improvising, especially anything comedy or whatever. I think it just makes things feel a lot more real. So I think they both have their pros and cons. They're both good, but I would say I like improvised for me personally.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And No Right Way is on Amazon Prime right now. How's it like for having your film be on a popular streaming service that shares shows like Samurai Turn Pretty?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. I've been working in this acting business for a while now, like I was saying. And just being able to finally have a film on a big platform like that, as Amazon Prime, it's amazing the fact that I can open up my TV and go type in the movie and see myself is definitely a dream come true. It's just a start though. I'm just beginning. So excited to just keep auditioning and booking and getting more movies out there. So this is definitely a good step though. It's a great goal, and I'm so happy it's finally out for people to see.
And is there any actors that you want to work with in the future?
Oh yes, so many actors I would love to work with. I think number one for me would have to be Tom Hardy. He did like the Venom movies. He did man, he did so many. He's in this new show called Mobland that I'm watching right now. So I think working with Tom Hardy would be amazing. Also Jake Gyllenhaal would also be another one that I would love to do. He's done amazing movies like Jarhead and Donnie Darko and all those movies. So I mean, working with Jake Gyllenhaal would be amazing. Last, I have to say Jim Carrey. That's my favorite actor of all time. So last, Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Ah, that's pretty cool. And is there a dream role that you would like to play?
A dream role that I would like to play. Man, there's so many I would love to play. I think I would love to just do an amazing comedy movie one day. I'm a big comedy enthusiast. Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, those type of movies. I would love to do just like a bunch of like Adam Sandler, funny movies and just have fun and mess around. Being a superhero, being a Marvel, DC would also, of course. I mean, I feel like that's so many people's dreams. That would, of course, be amazing. I'd be so happy to, be any superhero eventually. So, we'll see.
And is there any productions that you're currently working on right now or in the
Uh,
works?
At the moment, nothing I can at least talk about right now. You know, definitely still working, definitely still grinding. I just graduated high school, so I'm really just really focused on working and pushing myself out there as much as I can, and trying to grow myself as much as possible.
And speaking of, since you graduated high school, do you have any like college plans, or are you just gonna focus on acting and everything on entertainment?
Yeah, great question. I think I'm gonna keep focusing on my acting side of it. College is an incredible choice. I think if you want to go to college and that's what you feel is the best for you, I say do it. I say go for it. For me personally, you know, just college has never really been my thing. For me personally, I just really want to dive fully into my acting career and keep pushing at that. But college is a great thing. So I think if you want to do it, definitely go pursue it. Do what makes you happy. But yeah, I'm gonna keep acting.
I see. And you also have a podcast yourself. Is there any upcoming guests that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have a podcast called the Tycho Podcast Show. I ran that for a few years. It's been kind of off for a little bit, just for the fact that I was trying to get my senior year of high school sort of out of the way, trying to get the good grades, all that stuff. And now that I'm finally out of high school, have a lot more times on my hand. I'm definitely going to bring the podcast show back. I don't know who my first guest will be back, but we'll definitely know in due time. I think I want to get it back up in the next few months or so. Yeah.
I see. And in high school, did you ever do any theater?
It's crazy because I really wanted to. I really wanted to do some theater in high school. They had some theater classes open, but it was weird because I didn't do a freshman year or sophomore year. But junior year, I was like, you know what, I want to do some theater. And it's crazy. The one year I finally decided to go back and do theater, they said the theater teacher quit or something and that they didn't have the program anymore. And I said, what? Like the one year I finally wanted to do some theater and some plays and stuff, they quit and there's no more, and that sucked, and they couldn't find anybody even into senior year. So I mean, I couldn't do any theater in high school, unfortunately. I definitely wish I could have, though. Yeah.
That must have been really sad because, there's a lot of like public schools that don't really like have any like theater anymore because of budgeting and life happens. But you started in theater, right?
I Not really. I started kind of just doing self tapes and doing like commercials and stuff. I definitely did do some theater when I was younger. I did a few plays back then, but nothing major. I definitely want to dive into the theater world a lot more. It's definitely like it's just a different challenge than being on a set of a movie or a show. With that you can have as many takes as you want, but when you're doing theater, it's a different world. You can't mess up. You have to be perfect. You have to have everything lined up. So it's a great challenge, and I definitely want to do some theater eventually soon.
Yeah, theater is really fun. Do you have like a favorite like Broadway musical, favorite play?
Uh, you know, Not really. I don't really watch too many Broadway stuff. I know. I recently just watched this movie with who's the actor? Andrew Garfield. It was a movie called Tick Tick Boom, and that really. I don't know if you watched that movie, but it's about Broadway and stuff like that. I forgot what Broadway it was about. It was about Rent. I think the Broadway Rent. It was about that, and it was a great movie. It was a great film. So Rent is really like the only one I have fully watched, and like Hamilton and stuff. Yeah, those are probably the ones I know the best.
I see, yes. I've seen Rent, seen Tick Tick Boom. They're both really good. Love Broadway. Like, started off as a theater, was a theater kid.
Nice.
And any future goals of your career?
Yeah, it's definitely so many things planned, so many ideas that I want to have into fruition. Of course, the first thing is to just, get the ball rolling on my acting career, start booking consistently, start branding myself better, things of that nature. Later on in the line, I definitely want to start, making more music again. I've made music in the past, and I definitely want to bring it back, So once I start, booking some things and get the ball rolling, and I'm actually working on some songs right now, that I'm willing to release really soon. But I'm just excited for what the future got to hold.
Oh yeah, speaking of music that you do, you're a rapper yourself. So, talk about how you got into rapping.
Yes, of course. I got into rapping and making music and songwriting by my dad. My dad has been making music since he was, since forever. Since he was young. And it kind of just transitioned into me wanting to try it. And me and my dad would just sit down and just kind of have fun messing around. And three songs came out of it. Us just kind of messing around, having fun, trying to make songs. We ended up making three music videos that are all on YouTube if you want to check them out. And I fell in love with that too. Of course, acting is my number one thing, and that's what I love the most. But I love making music. I love songwriting. I think it's an amazing thing to learn to do. It's a great way to express yourself. Yeah, so making music is incredible, and I definitely want to grow it more in the future. So
And I
I
know you
can't.
wrote your first song called Tycho. I was like, hey, Tycho,
Yep.